Matty Rants.
If you're evil and you're on the rise, you can count on the four of us taking you down. Cause we're good and evil never beats us. We'll win the fight and then go out for pizzas. We are the crystal gems. We'll always save the day. And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl and Steven.
I was off on Pearl. I was off on Pearl. Hey everybody, it's your boy Matty Rants here, and I want to thank you for joining me again here on my channel for another episode. But this is not Matty Rants Diaries, and this is not for RuPaul's Drag Race. This is for the love of cartoons, a new series I'm starting here in reference for the cartoons that I love the most, and I'll definitely present something to you each and every Wednesday about it. And as a special treat, tomorrow I'll also be doing another episode. I kind of don't want to tell you which cartoon it's going to be. I want it to be a surprise, but we'll say it's either going to be about American Dad or Family Guy. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. We'll go from a Cartoon Network children's series to something a little bit more adult. So actually, why don't you say in the comments what you'd like it to be? Family Guy or American Dad? I really love American Dad more so than Family Guy, but I can talk about both of them in their entirety. But we're going to talk about Steven Universe today. Yay! Matthew, you said this 2 weeks ago. I know, I said this a while ago that I was going to do a Steven Universe rant, but this is the rant here now. So welcome. So do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and share this shit because you know we're going to talk about some Steven Universe. Now, I am not going to give you every single solitary episode rundown. I'm not going to do that mess because you know I'm good for a 45-minute video. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to talk about all the characters that I love the most, things that happened on the show that really impacted me and I felt some kind of way about, and what the show, I think, brings to television, to kids, to adults that love cartoons, and everybody in between, okay? So, I mean, where do we start with this? What is Steven Universe for those who simply have never seen the show, who I believe are living under a rock, and you need to seriously start watching Steven Universe? If you have Hulu, it's on Hulu. Watch it from its entirety. Yes, there are filler episodes. Yes, there are episodes that have nothing to do with the crystal gems and action-wise and this and that and the other, but some of those filler episodes are very necessary for you learning who Steven is and the people around him who he knew all his life. So the series is set in a fictional beach city. This is supposed to be somewhere in America, okay? And basically, Steven lives there with these crystal gems. These are humanoid beings from a different planet, different world, whatever you want to call it, who originally came to Earth to harvest from the Earth. But the leader, who was Rose Quartz, which is Steven's mother at the time, fell in love with the Earth, as did the other gems that she brought there with her. Because of that, she ended up rebelling against her own people, the gems, and is rumored to have shattered her own diamond, because they all have diamonds apparently. There's these 4 diamonds that control all of the gems or whatever, or basically the queens of them all, okay? And she shattered Pink Diamond, and all of a sudden everybody's against the crystal gems now, and they've been hiding out on Earth and basically protecting Earth from any threats from their own people, okay? And some of those crystal gems who are still here are Pearl, Amethyst, and Garnet. Now, Steven's mother is no longer with us, unfortunately, because Steven's mother had to sacrifice herself once she met Greg, who is Steven's father, and she became pregnant with Steven. So they couldn't exist together. So she had to die in order for Steven to live. That's pretty impactful here, people, because I was like, wow, like to think about that as a child, that your mother sacrificed herself in order for you to still be alive, and all you wanted to do is be closer to her and know who she is. And that's kind of where Steven's story is. You know, Steven wants to know everything about his mother and who she was and what she represented, and try to be like her, or try to simply be the best Steven he can be, as he always says. Because, you know, his mom, Rose Quartz, was a leader of these people who were rebelling against something that they believed was wrong. Like how we in society do that right now for things that we think are wrong. and situations and people who we don't think should be there. And we try our best to, you know, rebel against somebody who is not trying to, it isn't trying to benefit anybody else. You feel what I'm saying? They're trying to take from other people for their own selfish needs. And the Crystal Gems were about saving the day and about protecting what was beautiful, that was Earth, and all these wonderful people they felt on Earth who had emotions and who weren't bound to different rules and things like that, you know? So Steven Universe is this whole, y'all can give your own theories on it, but that's how I look at the show. Steven Universe is a realm of like, it's like a show that gives you the emotions and explains those to people in certain instances. Like, so I can just go on and on. I'm like totally at a loss for words because I love me some Steven Universe here, but let's just go down the line of the Crystal Gems, those who I love, and we'll talk about Steven and also some of the other gems that have shown up on the show, plus fusions that's like my favorite part of the show is when they fuse. It gives you a whole new definition of what this show is about. And also one theory I have for exactly what happened to Pink Diamond and give you my run through on that. So let's start with Garnet first, because Garnet is played by Estelle. Now, I may not know all the other people who do the voices for the other characters here, so forgive me for that. But Estelle, that was a big deal for me when I figured out it was her because I'm a fan of her music. So I was like, she sounds so familiar. And then I realized, holy shit, that is Estelle. Fuck. Oh my God. So I got so excited to know that she was doing this show and to hear that beautiful voice. Oh, I love just hearing her speak. And her as Garnet is so amazing. You know, Garnet is this tall. She gives you a woman of color. Again, these gems are not based off of races. Do you feel what I'm saying? But when you look at her and how she's presented with her frame and structure, you give, you know, a beautiful tall black woman with great afro, with bomb shades and a bomb outfit. And that for me was important because also, I mean, going into Amethyst and Pearl, you know, Pearl, of course, gives you this beautiful pearl illusion and feel, as well as Amethyst has this purple look to her, you know, based off of an amethyst and all this, that, and the other. And there's no definitions. There's no boundaries or limits to race and all of that. And that's another thing I like about this show is it sort of blends everything together. And that makes it really important for children watching because there's no color lines or colorblind. It's colorblind, basically. There's no lines of color. It's very colorblind, and I love that about the show. But back to Garnet. Garnet is a fusion. And we didn't really know all of that until later on in I think it was the first season. If I'm wrong, forgive me here. Again, this is just me ranting about this fucking awesome show. She's a fusion of Ruby and Sapphire. Rubies are like lower end soldiers, if I'm correct in this. And they're like kind of, yeah, lower end soldiers are what rubies are. They're not like the big guns, okay? But they're the lower end soldiers, you know, escorts, this and that and the other. Yeah, rubies are like the lower end soldiers, if I were to put it that way. Yeah, I'll leave that. And sapphires are clairvoyant, and they're able to predict things in the future in order to assist the gems and the diamonds with making their decisions and always being ahead of what is going to happen. So that way they never, you know, lose sight of what they're, you know, they basically are aware of what's going to happen, so that way they can't lose. They will win because she knows what's going to happen, and in order for this to take place, this is what needs to be done. I see this in the future. She's Raven, you know, it's all that. And you know, Garnet is basically a love story in itself. Garnet is these two entities, this Ruby and this Sapphire, coming together and becoming one and making Garnet. And it's amazing how her character still has that, Garnet still has that clairvoyant, you know, ability. It's not as prominent as it was when she's Sapphire, of course, but she still has that ability. And at the same time, she has her warrior strength from being a Ruby. It's like this blend of two things together. And one thing about Garnet is her love for Steven is, it's never ending. She loves Steven so much. I think there was this one episode where she knew what was going to happen to Steven, and Steven was on the roof and it was raining, and you know, she saw all of this going down and she didn't want him to get hurt, but she already knew it was going to happen. And she tried everything that she could to prevent it from happening. But in reality, everything was already set. Everything was already there. It was destiny that was going to take place. And she realized that. And that was such a beautiful moment for Garnet. But Garnet is just the business. She has these gauntlet little gloves that she has on. Baby girl can fight. And her fusions with both Pearl and Amethyst are everything, okay? The one with her and Amethyst is a little more chaotic, as Pearl likes to say. And the one with her and Pearl is hilarious and like this game show talk show host, or whatever you want to call it. I love Garnet. Garnet's one of my favorites for sure. Going to Amethyst. Amethyst is like the kid on the team. More than, well, not more than Steven. I would say more preteen to Steven being a kid on the team. Because she's had time on the team before, but she was definitely the last member prior to Steven showing up, okay? And, you know, Amethyst is considered a flaw by other gym standards because she's not cooked all the way. You know, she was supposed to be something much bigger or better and stronger, this and that and the other. And she's had to fight for that all of her life, I guess, on Earth. And dealing with that has been hard for her because she's always trying to prove herself. But she's also so much fun, and she has the ability to shape-shift and to transform into different things. And Miss Mama has a whip, and I'm always down for sissies with a whip now, okay? So I love some Amethyst. But I think my breaking point to where I really fell in love with Amethyst is when her and Steven fused together, and they became Smoky Quartz. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But that right there was when I truly fell in love with Amethyst, because it was that moment when they hugged and it was like they cried. I was like, oh my God. And then it was like, holy shit. They became, we'll get there. But my favorite one of them all, and people really don't really care for this one, but it's Pearl. I live for Pearl, y'all. Pearl is so important to the show because Pearl is almost a contradiction. She is the motherly type. She loves everyone else. She's always there, but she's so judgmental. She's so contrary. She's so facetious at times. She thinks she knows everything. She's got to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. And sometimes that really messes her up with her relationships with other gems, as well as Steven, as well as herself. And remind yourself, this is another part of the show I love the most because it introduces gay themes into this show without really saying what it is, because again, they're taking the form of a female in this humanoid form as a Pearl, right? But she loved Rose Quartz, both looking at two females. But as gems, there's no gender. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't say it's two lesbians. You can't say that. But at the same time, from the image that's presented, that is what we would get. Because that's what we know of seeing two women together. But it could just be a love and a bond that these two have with each other. And she felt so bonded to Rose because Rose saved her from being a Pearl. And Pearls are servants. And, I mean, oh God, I feel bad for all the other Pearls that I see with all the other diamonds, and they're just, especially the one with the blue diamond works perfectly with the blue diamond because she's really sad and meek and meager, and then the one with yellow diamonds, very snooty and snotty and all that stuff, and just not who you want to be around here. But Pearl apparently was a slave at this point in time, or a servant, and Rose Quartz is who kind of brought her out of her servitude and made her want to rebel and be somebody different and not have that label of I have to be a servant. And that's another thing about the show I love is that it doesn't, the crystal gems are all about breaking stereotypes and barriers, and you don't have to be this. You can be whatever you want to be. That's a big thing for children. You know, you don't have to go out and be a lawyer. You don't have to go out and be a doctor. You don't have to be an actor. You don't have to be, you know, a pharmacist, a veterinarian. You can be whatever you want to be. You're not going to automatically be entitled to that position because of what someone else told you have to be. You make your decisions. And that's one thing they loved about Earth when the gems got there, is that everyone was able to freely make their own lives, and they wanted to do that too and live freely. So again, the show has some serious major themes going on here. But Pearl really loved Rose Quartz, and once Steven's dad got in the picture, Greg, Mr. Universe, who I love Greg too. Greg's a great character. He's such a free bird, but he tries his hardest for his son and just wanting to be a good dad, because when Rose Quartz left, and if we remember those episodes, where I believe it was Onion's mother you know, he was babysitting Steven that one day or whatnot, and he didn't know what to do, or he just was like, I just can't, I don't know if I can handle this. And he had baby Steven with him. You know, Greg is just trying to do the right thing, and he's always been trying to do the right thing for Steven. So I live for Greg's character. But back to Pearl here. Pearl really, really loved rose quartz. And there's an entire episode. Is it Mr. Greg? Anywho, I believe it's Mr. Greg is the episode, but there's a beautiful song that Pearl sings, and there's also a flashback in one of the episodes where it shows them, what shows Rose Quartz and Greg doing a song together, you know, what would I do for you? It was a great song, and it showed Pearl's jealousy over Greg and Rose Quartz relationship. And of course, Rose Quartz and Pearl fused during this number almost to piss Greg off. But still, Greg had Rose Quartz and Pearl didn't have it. She was such a jealous bitch. But once this episode for Mr. Greg came up and Pearl ends up singing this song, you know, isn't it over, isn't it? Like, it's one of the best songs on Steven Universe, period. It was so tragic. It was so beautiful. Steven waking up to hear the song, crying. Greg overhearing the song like he was pretending to be asleep. Oh, it was such a very impactful moment on that show, and it let you feel where Pearl was coming from. It let you enter her emotions, and that, you know, that woman, that girl, you want to say woman, but she's not a woman. She's a gem. That gem really loved Rose Quartz. And it was hard for her to let it go because all she knew was Rose Quartz and all she knew was the crystal gems. So I have a special place in my heart for Pearl because Pearl tried so hard, and because Pearl, you know, broke down and finally trained Connie how to sword fight, which I'll get to Connie now in a second. But before I do that, everyone who loves Lapis, I feel you. Lapis was a very, I can't get the last name down, so I'm not going to say it. Forgive me for that. But Lapis, with the water ability, that was a really, really strong character. And I thought to myself, are we going to get her on the crystal gems? And I'm so glad that she became a crystal gem. And I was so glad that Steven was able to break into her heart and let her feel some kind of love. But she's so funny when she's so dry and just like, girl, I'm not about this life. And Peridot as well. Who saw Peridot becoming a person, I'm sorry, a gem, I keep saying a person, a gem to be a part of the crystal gems. And now she has the ability to control metal. Oh, love me some Peridot. Her and Pearl did not get along, baby, but now Peridot is part of the team, and I live for when Peridot went off on that, on Yellow Diamond. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I can't take it no more. I am smarter than what you think I am. And I do know I know what I'm talking about. Peridot is everything. So, love those as well. I believe was it Bismuth? Was the one that Uza Aduba? If I said it wrong, forgive me. I'm just running off the mouth here. This is why it's called a rant, babies. That character for that arc where it showed her being released from the bubble and, you know, she has been gone for so long. You know, that's also another good mention for the crystal gems because she was jaded by her animosity towards the gems themselves and wanted to destroy them. And Steven being with his mother and having that emotion built in from her, and his emotion as him being Steven, did not want to kill gems. He just wanted to bring everyone together and protect the earth. But Bismuth was on a completely different track, and Steven had to break her. And that was a really powerful episode of him fighting Bismuth down there in the pits. And God, that was a strong episode, and it made me upset. I cried a little bit because I was just like, oh, I wanted her to be like a full-time gem again. But again, Rebecca Sugar knows what the hell she's doing, babies. I'm telling you. The show brings out all the emotions. But now let's get to Steven. Steven Universe is the kid who a lot of us saw ourselves being, or at least looked up to, because we want to be that kid who just has a positive outlook on things and wants everybody to be happy and wants to just do the right thing. And Steven fights for what he believes in, and that's what I live for about Steven. You know, at first, the Cookie Cat episode, I was like, what the hell is this? And that was my first episode watching Steven Universe. That was the first one I was introduced to where I even gave Steven Universe another chance. But when he created his shield, and it was just like, whoa, okay, so he has a little power to himself. He just has to learn how to harness it. I said, I'm going to continue watching this show because of that one episode. And with Steven, his whole mission has been to find out about his mother and learn who she was and to understand what it means to be a crystal gem and who these crystal gems mean to him and how he can protect the earth and save everybody. It's such a huge weight to have on somebody. But Steven's willing to take that risk, and he has sacrificed himself on many occasions to save the people of Earth. And the crystal gems always come to the rescue, but he will always put himself first before other people. And that's what I love about Steven. Steven, there's been many times Steven's made me cry. And I think the one that most affected me, because, you know, I lost my mother, was when Steven got that videotape of his mom. And it was like an old videotape, and it was showing her pregnant with Steven and Greg and them playing on the beach. And then she starts speaking into the camera and she's like, Steven, you're gonna be so important. I love you so much. And I cried so much when that happened, because, you know, I would have loved to have gotten a videotape like that. But, you know, I got to live with my mother for a period of time. But that was such an important scene in the series, and it really brought a lot together. Steven's the glue of the show, and he makes everything that much more important on the show, and really bringing us all to love what is Steven Universe, okay? You gotta love Lion too. Lion is everything. And now that Lars, spoiler alert for those who don't know, Lars died in like the most recent episode and came back to life by Steven's tears. Yes, Steven can cry on people apparently and bring them back to life. I said, Jesus, what is going on here? I couldn't believe it. But now Lars is pink, and he has the ability to have the same portal ability that Lion does now. They're now a connection, a link. So, and mind you, getting into Lars and Sadie drama, I love them as characters. I really do. Sadie's great. She's that optimistic girl who really loves Lars, but Lars is such a dick. And it's like, I don't know how to deal with Lars, but oh, I've known him for so long. I've had such a crush, and Lars just wants to be cool. And he sometimes, you know, spazzes out on people and, you know, releases that anger on folks, but really Lars has a good heart. And we got to see that the most recent episode. But yeah, Lion, Lars, Sadie, Onion, all of that. Like, I love all the supporting characters who don't even have, you know, they're not even gems, but they do play a huge role in the Steven universe. But the one who does the most is Connie. Steven loves Connie. Connie loves Steven. And their love is so important that they were able to fuse together. You know, Connie was a little nerd, you know, she just wants to not be on that same, you know, again, not wanting to follow the path that has already been given to her, but make her own path. And she sees Steven as that person who believes in her being herself and wanting to be free. And they end up fusing together and becoming Stefani. Amazing. Amazing. You know, when Stefani fought Jasper, and Jasper's the one that always has been teasing Amethyst as not being a perfect warrior like Jasper is. Jasper's the perfect warrior for the gems. You know, she's the go-to Bia, okay? When Jasper beat Amethyst, and Amethyst went back to her gem form, and Steven and Connie fused together to fight Jasper, that was everything. It was everything, okay? And that also played a huge role into where Amethyst, you know, felt unwanted, and she had to prove herself, and where Steven then came along, and that's how Smoky Quartz became a thing. So, you know, Jasper also plays a big part in this too. I thought at one point Jasper was going to be a part of the Crystal Gems, but she's too far gone. We don't know where that's going. But you know, that whole fight is with Stefani. That shit just made me just lose my mind. It was one of my favorite episodes. But getting into fusions too, because I'm just going on here. My favorite fusions are when Pearl and Amethyst fuse together and become Opal. Y'all, if that is not the most beautiful fusion ever, like, baby, that bow and arrow, woo, that's it, sis. That's one of my favorites. Opal, Smoky Quartz, Garnet, of course, and Stefani are my favorite fusions on the show. You know, with Opal in that scene that, you know, Amethyst and Pearl could just not get it together, but once they were able to fuse, it just created something so beautiful. And, you know, of course, Stefani with the love that Steven and Connie have together, making one person. Again, almost like a relationship. It's not about you anymore. It's not about just us. It's we. You know, we are connected. And that's what that fusion gives you. And of course, when they were fighting Jasper, again, and Amethyst was getting her butt whooped, and she felt like, I just can't do this. I can't win. And Steven's like, well, it's not going to be just you. You can't do this by yourself. I'm here for you too. I've always been here for you. And that love that Amethyst and Steven had, that friendship, bonded them. And they became Smoky Quartz, one of the funniest, best fusions on the show. That yo-yo whip, baby. They take the shield, they take the whip and turn it into a yo-yo. I was done. Epic. One of the best fusions on the show. I know y'all have some of your favorites too. Go ahead and list them down in the comments below. But that's one of my favorite things about the show. Like, the love that Ruby and Sapphire had to then become Garnet, and them creating each other. The song that they sang before it that happened, it was... I can go on and on about it. But that's another thing I like about the show. There's no boundaries, and it seems like everything is explained perfectly. Perfectly explained, and it's not to confuse anyone. It's to simply make the point well known that we as people get it, and it makes a complete difference, and it also changes your mind and opens you up to more and different things and possibilities. I love Steven Universe. It's a really great show, and I really recommend that everybody watches it. I'm honestly waiting for the new episodes to come up here, because the way they left it, with Lars being stuck on, what is it, Jim Homeworld, and, you know, or I don't know if that was a Jim spaceship, or is that Jim, I think that's Jim Homeworld. But him being stuck there with those imperfect gems, and Steven going back to Earth knowing he has to go back and get Lars and save those imperfect gems. And again, they have to stop these diamonds from, you know, destroying Earth, destroying other planets and everything else. It's really important. They have to step in here. But last note I'm going to say here before I end this Steven Universe rant, and I thank you so much for sticking with me. I know I've been all over the place here, but I flippin' love the show, okay? My theory about what happened to Pink Diamond. I know a lot of people have posted their own responses to this. I'm not going to give you this long list of what I think happened to her. After the last 4 episodes we saw with Steven and Lars being taken to Jim Homeworld, I forget what that Aquamarine, there it is. With Aquamarine, with her rude self. Some people live for Aquamarine. I hate it. I'm like, ugh, she makes me sick. But when Aquamarine takes Steven and Lars to Homeworld, and Steven is basically, they assume Steven is Rose Quartz because Steven carries his mother's gem on his belly, okay? And they had that whole courtroom scene, and Steven's attorney figures out, like, oh snap, what if it wasn't Rose Quartz that did it? And all of a sudden brings that point up in court, and Yellow Diamond breaks her. This is me when that happens. I said to myself, I feel like Yellow Diamond had something to do with Pink Diamond's death. I really feel like it had something to do with it. I don't think that Rose Quartz killed Pink Diamond. I don't think that. I really think that Yellow Diamond had something to do with it. I think Pink Diamond was about almost with Rose Quartz on the rebellion of this, or better yet, was siding with Rose Quartz more so than her other diamonds. Maybe Yellow Diamond loved Pink Diamond and was upset that Pink Diamond did not follow Yellow Diamond's lead, because, you know, Yellow Diamond feels like she's the HBIC in this, and Blue Diamond's a little bit too, you know, she's all about the emotions and sad and meek and very calm spirit. But Yellow Diamond's very much a dictator, and I think that she was upset that Pink Diamond didn't want to follow her lead and ended up smashing Pink Diamond, and then blamed Rose Quartz for it because maybe Pink Diamond and Rose Quartz had a bond that she wished they had and wanted to destroy them in order for her own ways to be. I don't know. Tell me what your theories are on how Pink Diamond was destroyed, where the series is going to go. I know they have comics out about this. I haven't read them. I haven't wanted to because I like watching the show and being surprised and having the emotions taken from me. I don't know if the comics are more up to date or if the series is what we're looking at here and the comics are later. But either way, Steven Universe, check it out. Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network has some gems now. And me and Jamar84 are still supposed to do this cartoon rant when he decides to call me. And I said it in this video. But I know he has a new job now, so he's working, honey, and we're all glad that he got that up because I know brother was working on that. But with that, Cartoon Network has some gems out there. Steven Universe is one of them. Adventure Time was one. The regular show before they went to space was a great show. I love Clarence as well. I can go down the line, baby. I'm not a fan of Teen Titans Go. I'm not a fan of the new Ben 10. I'm really upset they even did that. But that rant will be coming soon. But tomorrow, I really want to do Family Guy versus American Dad. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Family Guy versus American Dad. There we go. So, for those at the beginning who are like, do Family Guy, do American Dad. No, I'm going to do Family Guy versus American Dad. Which one I like the most, what I think is great about both of the series, and what I think Seth MacFarlane is bringing to television that's so great. And then we'll get to Bob's Burgers at another time. But anywho, thank you again for subscribing, y'all. Again, Steven Universe, Cartoon Network, also on Hulu for those who are not cable friendly but internet friendly. Check it out on Hulu. Girl, pay for the subscription. It's worth it. You can watch shows, do all that good old stuff. There's also websites you can go to, but I'm not saying go to the ones that you can watch it for free, but there are places you can go to watch it as well. Also, I will bring back Matty Rants Diaries for this upcoming Sunday, so please stay tuned. As well as I'll do something for Saturday. I haven't decided what it will be yet, but tomorrow, once I do Family Guy versus American Dad, I'll have that up for you, so just get ready for it, kids. Probably going to be a 90s movies top 10, either horror movies, teen movies, or just general teen heartthrob movies like with Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, this, and that, and the other, okay? For those who remember for back in the day. But yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I love y'all so, so, so much. And everyone have a great flippin' day.
And against the foolery.